So once you download the add-on and install, you just go to Shift A, you go to Volume, and you're going to see Cloud, which you click, you wait a second, and then boom, you're going to get your cloud, which is calculated on the fly. That's the whole point. We haven't baked it in yet, such that if we go to the modifiers, we can now mess with this. If I change the seed, it will create a whole new cloud with the parameters down here. So there we go. It already comes with a basic material. You can change it if you want, but I found this to look great. I mean, honestly, that's a good looking cloud. But let's talk about settings. So seed, we already know, just kind of takes the settings and rerolls. But there's much more interesting stuff. So first of all, I'm going to enable mesh. This just creates the underlying mesh that is used to create the volume. So I'm going to enable mesh, and that will let us show us that will let us see what the detail is. So the detail is basically every time you bring it up, it's going to add a pass of particles. You want to be careful with this because once you get up to 4 or something like that, the volume conversion step takes forever. Another way to bring up detail is your number of puffs, which is literally, how many puffs compose the thing. So I'm going to make 60. Our distribution is kind of the overall shape. So right now it's kind of this like ellipsoid. This is because it's 4 units long on the y-axis. If I make this 2, it's going to be 2 by 2 with a unit with a z height of 1. If you make this ridiculous, it's going to look bad, right? So you want to be very selective with these numbers. But this is what lets you kind of shape the cloud a bit more. And then as for these spheres, which again are detail and puff dependent, we can say how many of them should be spawned, right? So in a way, it's a multiplier for the detail. Okay, let's see what that looks like rendered. Make sure to disable mesh to see the volumetric. Again, it will always take a second to calculate. That is the point. So you then export it to a VDB or whatever you want. Final setting is this volume density, which I actually wouldn't recommend you use. I would just do it in the shader. But in a word, you take the density, you bring it down, and 1 second, visually it will look sparser. Whereas if I bring it up by a lot, now it will look much denser. So it's almost like how thick is the cloud, the fog. The reason I say to do this in the shader of the object is I made basically the same setup over here. So like, for example, what you can do is you can take this density calculation I did, and let's take it and multiply it. The nice thing about this is it's easy to see in real time. So that is how you do that. It also works in Eevee, although you're going to have to wait for it. If you've never used Eevee for volumetrics, there's some important things to know. So I'm just going to make a light source. To make it look not like shit, 2 things to do. First of all, in the volumetrics, take your resolution and bring it as high as you can. So this is saying for every pixel, do 1 pixel worth of detail instead of calculating an eighth of it. I'm also going to bring up these steps, and then the final thing that will make this not look flat is in shadows, enable volume shadows. And now you can actually start, seeing what's going on here, where it is reactive to the light. And Eevee is a bit weird about HDRIs and all this. So I am going to, where's my light? I'm going to take my light, make it 4 times as powerful with a bit of radius, and then you can kind of like sculpt your lighting like this. And it's super fast because it's Eevee. So that's how you use it. Shift A, volume, cloud. That's the essence of it.